Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Two Beards Podcast. It's been a week, or like 2 weeks actually. I guess is the better way to put it. It's been a week since not doing anything. Well, we are a podcast that believes that good beer fosters good conversation. So we're gonna, as we've talked about, switch things up a little bit. Maybe we'll have an episode next week. Maybe we won't. I don't know yet. But this week we're here.
Sure are.
And I think we're going to do things a little bit differently this week. Surprise, surprise, Nick. I haven't told him. But I want to break down the beer like as if we were rating it before we get into our conversation. And you're like, why?
Yeah.
Right?
No, I'm. So we're just flip flopping.
We are, but we are flip flopping, but it's a little different. In the sense that, like, one of the things that I've been thinking about, and we've talked about, like, my philosophy of good beer fosters good conversation, and we want to focus on beers that we enjoy.
Sure.
Nick has chosen this beer. Allegedly, he enjoys it. He hasn't.
I like it.
I don't know when the last time you had it.
It's been a while.
So we'll see.
Sorry.
But what I want to do is really like, hey, if you're just here to hear about Fat Tire, you can just, oh, that's what Fat Tire is, and leave.
See ya.
I don't care. But if you maybe what the conversation that we happen to spark up, which is totally unplanned, is interesting to you, you want to stick around. And really that's the goal, is like just to see where the beer takes us in conversation with our experience, life, and don't worry about like, oh, we got to wrap up this podcast and talk about this beer. Like, no, we'll just end it when we want to end it.
Like that.
So that's kind of the idea that I have. Maybe we'll rate it in the beginning. Maybe we'll rate it at the end. I don't know. Again, it's going with the flow.
Sure. Absolutely.
Good beer, good conversation. That's it.
And action.
Well, yeah, probably.
Hey guys, welcome to Two Beards Podcast. No, I am excited. I have not had one in quite some time. We were talking about it. It was like oh, we're only doing good beer, and I was like, well, Fat Tire's not bad beer, and I'm like, actually, I kind of like it. It's not my favorite, but it was one of my first beers, especially one of my first, definitely probably if not my first craft beer.
Yeah, and I think maybe good beer is the wrong word, and I think I don't know, maybe it is the right word, but like my perception of the word good is different than I like this beer. I think good beer is interesting. It's dynamic. It's something that I'm like, makes me want to keep drinking it. Whereas some of the beer we've had that we've rated low, it's just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I can just tell you, don't try it. I don't want to drink this anymore. I don't want to talk about drinking this beer. I want to go downstairs, grab a Johnny Utah, and finish this podcast, right? Like, that's how I feel.
True.
And that's what I want to avoid. So
I think, there's still going to be instances where, we're kind of off the cuff with the beer.
Sure.
Coming to mind being like fresh hop season, where it's like, we don't know what we're getting into when it comes to that. Like, we're expecting it to be good because it's fresh hop. But
even the fresh hop thing adds some dynamic to the conversation, in our opinion. And, especially like, thinking through the last fresh hop season where we really didn't have very many fresh hop beers that we loved. I don't know. Those were still interesting to try. It's like going to a brewery and getting a new beer that you've never had. We want to keep kind of that experience rather than just a forced kind of bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely. Was the previous podcast the one I said tasted like Fat Tire?
No.
Which one was it? Do you remember?
Nope.
All right.
Glad I could help.
That's all right. Well, it's been a great podcast.
See you guys next week.
Maybe.
What's some of their? I mean, I'll just open it up.
Oh, maybe it was this.
Maybe I won't.
Well,
It was like
no,
3
it's not
podcasts ago.
because the problem was there was like
4.
2 beers that I was like, this is Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. This is Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. This one is
Right.
Tire.
Are you sure it wasn't Bob's Brown Ale?
I'm positive it wasn't that.
I don't remember what that beer was.
That was Georgetown's Brown Ale that I said was going to
That's
be
right.
good, and it was just meh. You just did not enjoy it.
Yeah.
I thought it was good, but
I think
not
I
as
thought it
good
was
as
fine.
yeah, not as good as I wanted it to be.
Maybe it was Field 41.
Was it that? Yeah, I was looking around there.
Oh no, it was a Mission. It was Omission's Pale Ale, the
Uh-uh.
gluten free,
Nope.
right?
Oh wait, maybe. Missions. I don't. Oh wait. No, that's where I said Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. There was like 2 beers recently where I'm like, this
I don't know.
is Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, and
You do that a lot though,
Yeah.
so
I'm glad I wrote that one down because that one I was hardcore. That beer.
Yeah.
I don't think we wrote down the Fat Tire one, so I don't think I would know even upon tasting it. But
Celebration.
you know,
Fat Tire is written about once in
Mayonnaise?
episode 90. Mayonnaise.
where do we?
Thoughts
Yeah.
are Fat Tire
Okay.
needs full carbon nostalgia. So
I'll tell you right now,
I don't
after
know.
trying this, I don't agree with that. Remembering
I
what
don't-
mayonnaise is like.
I don't either.
Yeah.
What do you think? Trying Fat Tire again.
It's
Wow.
pretty much exactly how I remember it. It's just nothing crazy. I mean, it's an amber ale, but it really kind of just I think it rides the line between like an amber ale and maybe like a dark lager, like flavor wise, I should say.
So the hops are Willamette, Goldings, and Nugget.
All hops that I very, very, very rarely see.
Mostly because we're IPA drinkers and they're not going to be incredibly... Like, I don't see them often with like citrus forward like IPAs usually are.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least some element of citrus. This beer, mostly due to the amber style, and it's inspired by like European beers, I believe. Yes. When our co-founder pedaled his way through Europe, sampling beer along the way. So like this is kind of how I think, where it's like, I don't know. I always think like colder temperatures, you know, when you think like Germany, you have like very malt
Yeah.
forward. You get like a lot of like my mind when I drink this beer goes to brown sugar. I think you could like argue like burnt sugar or caramel as well, and that's typically from like a very malt forward beer. And then kind of the pre aftertaste. So not like when you're
Yes.
done drinking, but the very back end of the taste, you have that herbal hoppy note, but it's like that. Like it's just there, and then it's leftover sugar in your mouth. So it's not like, oh, this is a like hoppy, you know, beer that you taste like orange peel and stuff like that. So it's just different.
Interesting enough. So I was going to go through each hop varietal and just kind of take a peek at them. And so I started with Nugget. Founded in Oregon, is actually currently the second most widely grown hop in Oregon, which I feel like it's interesting. It's typically woody, resiny, and plenty bitter is what this website says. So mainly used as a bittering hop due to its high alpha acid. There's Nuggets for you.
Neat. How they describe it is today, Fat Tire delivers drinkers everywhere a flavorful, balanced beer with a fresh herbal hop profile, fine malt presence, and a touch of fruity yeast, making it a timeless beer with broad appeal.
It's fair. It's fair. The fruity yeast is interesting. That's I don't think that's something I would have pinpointed, but totally checks out.
I wouldn't describe. I mean, it all depends on how you define balanced, which is why we typically avoid it.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I do think this beer favors the maltier tones throughout the evolution of the taste, but like it might be balanced in what you would consider like comparatively to an IPA, which relies on its hops for its taste, or like a milk stout, which is really creamy. So in like that sense, it's balanced, but when you like balanced within the beer itself across like those flavor profiles, I wouldn't necessarily say so.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you there. Yeah, it's very interesting because it balanced sounds like a very specific phrase where you're like, oh yeah, all parts of it is just balanced, but at the same time, like it's not. It's like incredibly vague because depending on the beer you're drinking, depending on like the idea that they're going for, it's like certain flavors can be balanced out by others, but would still be stronger in another beer than this one, and it's the whole thing.
I always think like when someone says balanced, I think well-rounded, so you have a good hop profile, a good malt profile, all that stuff.
Totally.
But then like that's not necessarily this, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like comparatively, sure, but in and of itself, not necessarily.
Right. I will say, the majority of everything I'm seeing here, which I feel like makes sense, it's kind of fruitier, like maltier and sweeter. A lot of hop varietals are quite fruity. So Willamette, it says it tends to be a little peppery and herbaceous spice with fruity and floral notes. And then the Golding is lemon, tangerine, apricot cherry, and black pepper.
Yeah, I could see the apricot and black pepper.
Yeah, so pretty peppery and
I described it like as a like herbal and earthy kind of taste.
That makes sense.
So,
yeah, I feel that.
And then my general thought on this beer, I don't know if you can expand on this or just disagree. I just thought it's soft.
It's pretty soft.
It's just soft.
I think it's feel wise, it's soft. It sits pretty soft. It doesn't really buzz your mouth much.
It's got like a fluffy fizziness to it.
Yeah. I mean, you saw the head as we poured it. I mean, both of us were like trying to calm that bitch down a little bit. It's like, whoa.
So,
no, 100% I agree with that. And you also said good with pub food, and fuck yeah. Like, I know you're not a fan of like onions, but dude, caramelized onions on a big burger with this guy is just fucking perfect.
Thinking also like even simple pub food, like some hard pretzels.
Oh, totally.
Maybe even an actual pretzel with some cheese.
Delicious.
I don't know.
I'd fuck with some cheese with this.
Mini corn dogs, all beef.
Is there? Never mind.
We just don't talk about them, but there is.
Sure.
Unfortunately.
It is what it is. I haven't had a corn dog in a hot while.
$1 grilled cheese.
Fuck yeah.
Still want to do that. I think it's a genius idea.
It is a genius idea.
Maybe that's what we should serve along. We should serve fat tire along with the dollar grilled cheese.
Hell yeah. $2 fat tires.
Yeah.
Maybe that's too cheap.
It's probably too cheap, but something like that.
Yeah. It's fair. Oh, man. That'd be so great to just crush fat tires and grilled cheese all night.
Think $5 and you get 2 grilled cheeses and a fat tire.
Yeah. Yeah, I would fuck with that so
Yeah.
hard. I would have 10 orders of those. I don't.
I'd like to order one now. And once I'm done with my first grilled cheese, go ahead and just put in another order.
Start making that next order. Trust me, the timing will line up perfectly.
I think it's genius.
Thinking about all that makes me thinking about being back in bars and having things back open. And so for my birthday last year, before everything was closed, my brother had gotten us tickets to go see a few bands. And I think it was scheduled for April.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously everything was closed and canceled and all that. And then I think immediately they had rebooked it for like August of 2020. And then, the closer and closer we got to that, they were like, so
not going to happen.
It's just not happening. And now finally they rescheduled it. It is on the books. And can't remember when he said. Now that's going to bug me. I thought he texted me, but I guess not. Well, it's rescheduled, and that's interesting because I'm like, I don't want to wear a mask at a concert.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what's going to happen.
100%. Yeah.
Like it's still, I think it's still probably like 6 months out at least, if not more. But like, I don't want to wear a mask at a concert. And we've all seen the statistic where one mask is basically nothing. So why even wear the mask?
It just, I think, I don't know. If you're a big believer and like concerned person around all that stuff, like the automatic response is, it's just a mask. What's the big deal?
Yes, that's what people always say about it. Yeah.
But like it does impact the experience of everything. I mean, we've talked about it with like me not getting a haircut for months and months and months. It's just like it's not something I want to do. It's not something I'm interested in, all that stuff. And it's like, that's also just as like, that's also impactful. I hate this idea of like, it's just a mask. What's the big deal? When you don't like, it's just oversimplifying something that's a very complex topic that affects it's not just a infection thing. It's also an economics thing. It's also someone's livelihood. It's also like their clientele not visiting them often because of the experience.
Exactly.
Like it's so much. It's the businesses that they buy from, that they purchase product. Like it's not just the bands. It's also the vendors. It's also the venue.
Right.
Like all their jobs. It's also not just vendors, but also like food and drink and all of that stuff comes into play. And then you're like, it's just a mask. It's like, no, you're just oversimplifying the entire thing. That's
100%.
So dumb.
Yeah, because then that's their counter answer. You're like, well, I don't want to wear a mask, and then they go. So it's the first answer is, well, it's just a mask, and then you counter with, well, I don't really want to wear that. I don't care. And
so just don't go.
Oh, yeah. So that's the counter answer. Oh, so just don't go. Like, oh, so now are you not adding up how all this works out in the end? Like
someone on our local Reddit asked about like local, like they said, they're new in town, they're going on a first date, and they're asking like, what's a good bar to go to? And there's like 4 comments, and 3 of them were like, don't you know we're in a pandemic of a respiratory disease, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you're like literally, causing Rachel, who works at a bar, to, get let go of her shift early because there's not enough customers. So now she doesn't get paid for X amount of hours, as well as the tips that she would have made on top of that to pay her rent. Like, we get it. We get what's going on. No one's under this illusion that everything's fine and everything's normal. No one's under that illusion, but things still, like, there's also impacts outside of COVID.
Yeah, and then I always hear the answer where it's like, well, it's better these businesses close rather than, all of these people dying. And I'm like, all right, well, again, I don't think you've thought your thought all the way to conclusion, because what's the difference between someone dying from COVID and somebody going out of business, going homeless, dying of starvation?
Yeah, I mean,
or even the fact that they're homeless, like
suicides up. There's going to be, long-term effects from drinking, smoking, like all that. Like there's going to be long-term impacts.
Pick your poison,
Yeah. So, I'm, this person who I know nothing about, but I assume they're not at a high risk. They're not in a high risk group. They're, taking care of themselves. They're taking care of their family. Their family has, thoughts on all of that. If they have family, since they're new to the area, like all that stuff. And so it's just like, prescribing a one size fits all. Don't you know we're in a pandemic and I'm morally superior to you? Like,
that's what it is.
Like, it's just like, fuck off.
And I'm seeing more and more conflicted studies about the
I mean, there's no settled science when it comes to masks. When it comes
transmission
to
of disease, when it comes to if you're non-symptomatic, that's
there's no scientific consensus
right
when it comes to any of it.
Right.
Like there's just not. There's lots of studies you can look at with the efficacy of masks and lockdowns and transmission rates, depending on different age groups and their susceptibility to actually acquiring COVID. It's
all
just
too new. There's all too many variables, and it's all different scientists with different agendas as well.
Well, and it's like the different variables is key. It's just like, stop oversimplifying it just so you can understand it, and then preach from your fucking pulpit.
Well, and I think about the instance, which this is oversimplifying it on the other end of the spectrum, I guess. But I think of. I think like if I'm going to get, when I go to get married and somebody in my family is an alcoholic, I'm not going to not have alcohol at my wedding. It's going to be, hey, you're invited. Alcohol is going to be there. I
respect your decision not to come.
Would love to see you there, but I respect your decision if you decide not to come.
Yeah.
I don't think we should cater everything to the minority. It should be the majority. Well,
and I think, we're both advocates of personal responsibility.
That's also true too. Right. Yeah. And taking it back to that analogy where it's my personal responsibility, taking on like, hey, it's up to me. I want to have alcohol at my wedding. I'm going to do that. And
something I care about.
Yeah. And then it's up to this alcoholics, it's their personal responsibility to watch out for themselves and take care of themselves and know their boundaries and their limits. So
yeah, I mean, and it could be just as easily the other way too, where it's like you feel personal responsibility for said person, so you don't want to have alcohol at your wedding.
Totally. Sure. That's an option too. Sure.
At the end of the day, you're free to make your decision.
Exactly. It's
your wedding.
100%. Yep.
No one should tell you how to celebrate it.
Exactly. It's my fucking life. Don't tell me how to live it.
My life.
I was going more Bon Jovi. It's my life. Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about Bon
The
Jovi.
fuck, this podcast took a turn. Also, take that back.
No.
Dare you?
No.
What's your deal?
Really, it's just living on a prayer. I think that song might be, like, you know how you and I like bad songs that we can meme to that are like kind of good, or we're like we're
some
considered
point,
good at
yeah.
some point. Like we make fun of Stained all the time. You know, Nickelback probably falls into this category.
Everybody loved Nickelback for a
They did.
while. Like, I don't care
We
who
love
you
Nickelback.
I don't. Yeah, right. I don't care who you are. Like,
Yeah.
you might hate Nickelback right now. You might shit on them every day.
We
but
love Nickelback.
You probably-
we love Stain.
Yeah,
Trapped, even though he's, you know,
I love their
Kind
one
of a
song they
pedo.
put out.
Africa.
Yeah,
People want to meme on Living on a Prayer. I hate it so much I can't.
what
I
about
just don't like it.
what about Shot Through the Heart?
It's just,
That's a good one.
it's not.
That's better than Living on a Prayer.
Absolutely, 100% it is. Like miles.
That song gets you pumped. Yeah. We'll play that next time we go to a bar and keep that on repeat.
Oh, that just
Just
pissed me off.
every 2 minutes. Shot through the heart.
Oh man,
Shut up. It's commitment.
I wish Olive Garden had touch tunes.
Oh my gosh, yes. Hey, wait a minute. Speaking of Olive Garden, I didn't get a gift card this year.
I don't think anyone did.
I don't know.
Okay.
I got pears and apples.
Yeah.
Kind of want an Olive Garden gift card. I didn't want it before, but now that I don't got it, I want it.
I hate the Olive Garden.
I mean, you're usually left sitting around thinking, who are all these fat people?
Why am I at the Olive Garden? Who are all these fat people? It's just the whole thing of Olive Garden, man. It's just from the first experience, like the first, like arriving there to the end, it's just horrible all the way through.
I feel like all Olive Gardens have the same shitty parking, like the U-shaped parking lots too.
So if you are a fan of the Olive Garden, let me ruin your day real quick. You probably like the Olive Garden because of their breadsticks. Their bread is shit. Next time you go, pay attention to how the breadstick tastes. Don't just lick.
What you like is garlic.
Yeah, what you like is garlic, olive oil, and salt on top of the bread.
And guess what?
The
I'm not
actual-
going to blame you for that.
Yeah, no one's saying that's a bad thing. But the bread sucks ass.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It's pretty rubbery.
It's so gross.
Yeah.
So like if you want to just eat bread, olive oil, garlic, and salt, go buy a good loaf of bread. Get some good olive oil, some salt, and garlic. It's really easy to do. You just, mash up the garlic a little bit. Yay.
One thing I'll give them is their soup. Soup's pretty good.
I hate soup.
Sure. So it's hard to be objective about it, but
Yeah.
the zuppa Toscana, a little spicy sausage and
People
potato,
do like that one.
It's pretty good. And that kind of masks the bad bread because you dip it in the soup.
People are probably like, what do you mean you hate soup? I mean,
Yeah.
you've been around me long enough.
Yeah, brushed right past that. I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, of course.
Of course, he hates soup. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what's the point,
Sure. No, but sure.
But like, what's the point? Like, you're pro soup.
Yeah, like soup.
So I'm asking you, what's the point?
Taste. Good.
Okay, but like you brought up you know, sausage and potatoes, why wouldn't we just eat sausage and potatoes?
Texture. You get.
You just, like, you want what? Who?
It's not
like,
just
when
water.
if you-
it's not just water. It's
when
not
if you-
just water. It's not just water.
Okay. I disagree, but I'll grant you that point, and I'm offering an alternative point,
Okay.
even though I disagree.
Sure.
Just wanted that out there.
Sure.
When have you ever ate a beautifully created steak and thought, man, you know, it'd be better if this steak was in liquid form?
Steak's different.
I know I'm putting it in an extreme example, but
Sure.
like, you know,
Do you like chili?
no.
No chili. Not even if it was like
Okay.
really fucking spicy.
I like one
Because most people don't do it spicy enough.
chili meal, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
That pisses me off when the chili isn't spicy. I'm like, and
Like
when
why?
the chili isn't spicy and they don't put very much meat in it, I'm like, why am I here?
Yeah, I don't understand then you just have liquid and beans.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What are we doing
I
here?
don't get it.
Get some Doritos.
Yep.
Crush them up.
Yes.
Chili on top of Doritos. Cheese, and then you're free after that. And you have to have those three things. You're free to add whatever you want. I know you're not going to like this. Olives, tomatoes. Now we're going to get stuff that you do like. Onions, you know, green onions, sour cream, whatever you want to fucking throw on there. You want to throw salsa on there? Fuck it.
Well, kind of weird, but I mean,
Truffle?
I guess.
You know, I don't know. Why would you do that? I don't know, but Nick would do it. Chunks of garlic? Sure.
Oh, absolutely. You probably should.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
You know, but essential ingredients, thick layer of Doritos,
Yeah.
chili and cheese.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That I like.
That's fair. Yeah, I think that's the problem.
Because I think
really,
it's the
is everyone's-
crunch. I don't like, I'm the
Well-
soup texture, not for me.
Well, here's the thing then too. I would say don't base layer Dorito it. You should sprinkle them on top as you eat. That will keep them crunchy.
No, the point is like the layered effect.
I get that, but like, I don't. Hear me out. Do both. I don't think you could overdo it.
Maybe we should do it this weekend.
That is not a lot of planning, but it is some planning with not a lot of time.
Some planning. Well, like I bet
Have a
like
crock pot.
if I was to like, I would put money that Jack and Michelle probably have like a chili that they do.
Oh, yeah.
That they're really proud of because they're the kind of people that like would have that kind of thing.
They're from the Midwest, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, you guys want to make your chili?
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, we could probably just text them that,
Yes.
not even knowing that they make a chili, and they'd be like, yep.
Probably. Yeah. Almost guaranteed.
Do I bring cornbread as well? No.
But yes. Yeah, we'll just buy the spicy Doritos.
Yeah. So I thought I would do
jalapenos.
breakfast because you're I think Renee said you guys were bringing burger stuff.
Yeah, see, we did. Okay, yes.
But I don't know how much burgers.
yeah, see,
Are you bringing burgers for you? Or
this is what I was getting at last weekend, where it has not been talked about. It has still not been talked about with me.
no, it hasn't. Nothing's
So
been talked
Renee
about.
might have said something to you guys, but
She
hasn't
texted a
said
group.
anything to me.
She texted the group.
Not me.
You're probably right that she didn't include to you.
Yeah.
So Nick and I are hanging out this weekend. Well, not just Nick and I, but we're going up to the cabin and all that stuff. Yeah, you're not on this text, so there you
Son
go.
of a bitch.
She said the address. Bring a good coat and boots.
Yep.
Depending on the snow, we might have to park at the bottom of the driveway.
Yep.
Bring whatever booze/food you would want. I'm pretty sure Nick and I will be buying stuff for burgers/hot dogs, etc. for our dinners.
News to me.
And I didn't know, I still don't know. And I wasn't going to ask this clarification. Like, is that like you guys are doing dinners? Are you guys doing your dinners? Everyone, no one knows.
Yeah, that's a good question, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, and I would have made it a whole thing. Like, hey, kind of like I did with camping. I'm like, Here's a spreadsheet.
That's the way to do it.
What?
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, here's a spreadsheet. Everybody fill in what you're bringing, and then
Let's
can fill
talk
in some
about
gaps.
meals.
Yes.
Here are the 7 meals we're gonna have.
Yeah.
We're doing the burgers and dogs. He wants to,
Right.
But in any case, I was like, I didn't say this, but I'm thinking in my head, I think I'm gonna do breakfast. I'm gonna get a fuck ton of the spicy nachos. I was bringing back the spicy nachos thing.
Yeah.
Good mozzarella, eggs, chorizo, and bacon, and just
It's lovely.
breakfast.
What are you doing tomorrow after work?
Working. Oh, after work, nothing.
Okay, so we should go
Maybe.
to Costco then.
Costco.
That way, on Friday after work, we can just zip on up. Don't gotta worry about stopping at the grocery store and all that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you'd be like, "Oh shit, I forgot this," but outside of those, it'd be nice to just have everything.
Sure.
Man, now I really want Jack and Michelle to make that chili that I don't know that they make. That I'm sure they make.
You should just text Jack and be
good
like,
idea.
"Hey, can you make your guys' chili this weekend?" Just see what he says. Because I'm interested. Because I feel like he's not gonna like. I would put money that he's not gonna say our chili ? Even though Jack might say it knowing that we haven't had their chili, just to like be an asshole.
Yes.
And then Nick will be like, "Well, I was assuming you had a chili," and you'd be like, "Yeah, we have a chili, but."
Oh, so you're just being an asshole. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. At least now we're calling it out that you're an asshole.
True. But yeah, the breakfast that I brought up:
Yes.
Doritos,
Fuck yeah, I love
eggs,
chorizo.
mozzarella, chorizo, bacon, whatever else you want to throw in it. It's a good scramble, man.
Absolutely. Fuck with that real hard.
You want to put in the extra effort, you can, throw in some potatoes in there.
I was
Some
just gonna
onions.
say I might bring a sweet potato and throw that in.
Sure.
Sounds
The
fucking
only
good.
the hard thing, like if you're doing it yourself, is, and you and I are very much on this, eggs require it's a full attention job.
Yes.
You got to be like, it's a full-time job while you're cooking the eggs. So there's no fucking around with potatoes. Someone else has got to be doing that.
Yes. No, I think I think it just goes without saying that I think you and I are kind of committed to okay with just helping each other cook when we have
Sure.
weekends like this. So I think like other people, they like food, but they could just have hot dogs every day and they don't care. Whereas us, it's like a whole thing. Like, what are we gonna eat? What are we gonna do for this meal? What if we add this to that? And
Well, and there's certain things that we have a high standard for,
that's also true.
like eggs, steak, burgers. I mean, burgers we probably don't really have a high standard. I mean, pretty much any burger is solid.
Yeah.
As long as the meat is good. Like, you're not doing some 93.7 beef. Like,
Like, what the fuck? Why?
what are we doing here?
No, and I actually won't even give you like an out that you read it wrong, because you just need to fucking check that when you're buying
Like-
ground beef.
I'll give you 85-15.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Not ideal. I'll give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anything less than that, like, fuck.
I found out that
No,
it
thanks.
is illegal for stores to sell. I want to say it's anything higher than or like lower, however you want to look at it, a 70-30. I think that's what the number was. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's 70-30. I didn't know that it was illegal.
Yeah, like actually illegal, which I thought was interesting. Like against FDA, which I'm like, that's makes no fucking sense, because I could just buy the ingredients separately and mix it in my own patty. And so
Well, that's what they do after about 85-15 is they add fat.
yeah,
That is what they do to get to 80-20 is
Right.
they add fat. So
Yeah.
it's like,
what makes it delicious.
I think it's because probably that the FDA demonized fat for so long. They're like, we
You're
gotta
probably right.
gotta keep this going on. Fat is dangerous.
Absolutely. No, I 100% agree with that. I can almost guarantee you that that's what it is.
especially beef fat, the worst. Highly processed oil fat, that's W.
That's W. In fact, heat it up, make it even worse for you.
Not cancer causing at all.
That is totally okay with us. Man, I tell you. Something new that I'm interested to hear your opinion on kind of after the fact now is how do you feel about Satisfactory so far?
Yeah, so we just started playing Satisfactory with our friend Jack.
It's a lot of fucking around, but...
So I'm happy because, normally as a gamer, I do a lot of the upfront work, investigating games, how they play, all that stuff in my friend group. Just, I'm that guy. Someone's got to do it. Ends up being me.
It's true.
This one, I intentionally, even though I know of Satisfactory, was like, I'm not going to learn anything. I'm going to experience a game for the game.
Yeah.
Which is unusual. I'm happy that I did that. There's a lot for me to learn, but I had a good time playing.
Nice.
But I kept thinking, especially in the beginning, I was like, Jack has no idea what he's dealing with as far as like Levi gaming in an open world environment.
I should show you this video. This guy that I sent to Jack. It's in the exact same area that we're in, and oh my god, he's like, well, we're gonna need some storage containers, and he's like, that takes care of that, and he's got like literally probably like 200 or 300 storage containers facing every which direction, like exactly like what was happening yesterday, basically. And I should do it. Now we're gonna need some fucking conveyor belts to come out of these, into the constructors and whatnot and stuff. And so it's just like a spider web, like the most fucked up spider web ever. And then you'll get to a point in the game where you can make you can do fast travel through tubes.
Mm-hmm.
And he made this rocket. He did there's the start of the tube has like a suction to it. So if you put multiple starters in a row, it exponentially suction increases your speed. And he put like 200 some, and he just to the point where it killed him. He was going so fast, he just fell into oblivion.
My favorite moment was Jack asked me to build the equipment room thing. And
oh yeah, the hub.
And I was like, looking at it, not yet clicking it, right, to actually start the construction. I was like, is this a good spot? And he's like, yep. And I was like, but it's not. Even though he said, yep.
He clicked it. Clearly was not looking.
And
you're right. The equipment shop. Yeah.
Blocked one of the sides of the hubs, and the door of the equipment was blocked also. I'm like, glad we have this door. This is going to be inconvenient.
10 minutes later, we walk back. Jack, what the fuck? You moved the equipment shop. What are you doing? Like, it was perfect.
You said it was a good spot.
Yeah, man. What the heck? Going back on your word?
My favorite thing was towards the end, and you guys haven't gotten here yet. So, spoiler alert for you. I created my own mining outpost.
Mining?
Yeah.
For?
It's just all the resources in the area.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Including coal.
Nice.
3 nodes right next to each other, all converging inefficiently into one merger, into one storage box.
We don't even have...
Yep. I know.
Oh, no, it is a miner. Never mind. I'm sorry. So you had 3 miners going out of 3 different coal mines into one...
merger. Into one storage box. And then, as I was building that, I ran out of iron to construct the conveyor belts. So I had to go mine iron. And then I ran out of concrete. So I had to go mine concrete.
Oh, yeah. Never mind.
And then so I had to ask, and I was like, so you know, theoretically, if I was going to help you guys with power, you know, what's that do? What's a chainsaw do?
I do remember that.
So I kept asking a lot of questions, and you're like,
because you were building it off on your own.
If you look where I am, and I'm like, I'm so far. And I'm like, yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay. Yep. That's where you're at. Yeah. If I just put the leaves there.
Okay. Cool.
Knowing full well. I have no idea where you're talking about. No clue. I was really just saying, how do I hide that I'm using all of our power?
Yes, basically. Well, we were like, oh, wow, we're out of power again, huh? Interesting. How'd that happen?
My favorite thing was like, Jack was like, oh, we must have just ran out of resources on something. And you're like, yeah, we probably just, you know,
and then he's
one
like,
of the burners are gone. And he's like, oh no, we're using a little bit more than we thought. It's like, I know the reason for that.
I have 8 miners on all these nodes over here. All with constructors and smelters.
No.
You're just mining.
Oh wait, I do have 2 constructors.
I'm like, you're just mining straight into containers? Like, why the fuck would you do that?
I'm building the mining outpost.
That makes no sense.
I'm in the middle of building it. I got to get all the resources so I can construct it, you know?
What you'll need to do is not watch how-to videos, like continue to learn and play how you are, but you should watch videos to like look at the style of other people's building. Because that was kind of helpful.
I like the style I'm working on.
Yeah, I don't think you do. I don't think anybody would. Although, maybe that one guy whose video I'm talking about, he would probably fucking like that shit.
Exactly. I like my long pathway with just ramps coming off the side with
Jesus
they're just
Christ.
like hanging off the edge.
Yeah, I'm like, Jack's like, the fuck is this? Why are there so many ramps?
It's like, well, I had to get up.
On both sides.
Well, and you couldn't even reach the ramps. They were so far off the ground.
Yes, yeah. Like in like a couple spots you could, but the majority of it, it's just, off the ground.
Well, then I built like a ramp flat, like wave. Like
As ridiculous as that is, it works.
it did work.
Yeah.
It gave us all the materials, but
And it's an easy way to get up and down.
it looked
So
funny.
it did. Well, it does.
Yeah, still. Until someone tears it down.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a fun game. That's a good time. One thing I like about it, compared to Minecraft, and I like Minecraft for what it is, but one reason I like this one a lot is it has the milestones. Like it always gives you a goal to go towards.
That's why I want to play modded Minecraft with you.
Yeah.
Because especially like so modded Minecraft, obviously there's like specific mods, but there are mod packs which have like usually hundreds of mods inside of those packs. And then like something like Sky Factory has different trees and objectives in like in a book that you can complete.
Okay.
So it has that progression system, as well as similar to Satisfactory with Minecraft. Almost everything can be like, especially in modern Minecraft, almost everything can be automated. But there's like a lot of like grinding up to create the automation and stuff, and that's like I mean, it at that point it is very much like Satisfactory inside of Minecraft, and it's pretty cool.
Totally. I feel that. No, that is cool. The one thing that Minecraft has over Satisfactory, well, it's not the one thing, but one of the things that it has over Satisfactory, you have seen all of the mobs now in Satisfactory.
Yep.
That's it. There's no like big honking boss that you could defeat. There's no it doesn't get any more difficult from here on out.
And the biggest one to me that
Not bad at all.
that like is kind of a big deal for me is the lack of building options. Like it's basically
Yeah, so we actually just unlocked the awesome sink and the awesome shop.
yeah.
You basically just dump resources into the sink, which produce tickets for you to be able to purchase in the awesome shop. And there is some things that like make it exponentially better building wise. It's still not perfect. I think it still lacks a lot.
Well, I think even like Ark kind of being a similar game
Yeah.
in engine
Totally.
to Satisfactory has like corner blocks, ramps, stairs, like different types, different materials, like all this stuff. Whereas like Satisfactory is very much like foundation, wall, ramp.
Well, so that's
Machines.
the thing. That's the thing, though.
And maybe you're right. Like
in the shop, they
in the
have
shop.
like corner ramps and like half pipe things and like
Yeah.
So it
So maybe I
helps.
just need to get there. But like at least right now, I'm like,
Totally.
I cannot build anything. Like it's like the machines and stuff are cool, but I can't build anything that's like
Yep. It comes later.
cool that I designed.
Yeah, it comes later. Or we could just start dumping shit into the awesome thing and start getting tickets to get some stuff. Because I'm with you. That's where I was too. Like when my first game that I played with Jack and David, and they were just like building shit left and right, and me coming from Minecraft, I'm like, that looks like shit. I'm like, what? Like not graphics wise, like the configuration of what they're building. I'm like, that looks like fucking shit. Like
Even if it's like optimal, it's just like
we need to clean this up.
This is just gross.
Yeah, it looks gross. Like we need to clean this up. And they're like, oh, it doesn't matter. We can clean it up later. And then when I went off and played my own solo world, I'm like, oh, I get it now. It does not matter at first because you just need the resources, and then you can later clean things up and rearrange things and make it look better.
Well, and different people have like different styles and like
Sure.
different priorities.
Different priorities of like wanting to play, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like
No.
I like spending the time making something look cool and unique, even if it's not the most efficient thing in the world. Like that's
Right.
fun to me.
No, absolutely. I'm totally with you. Totally with you. Yeah. So in my solo world, I've been starting to do that, tear apart a lot of shit and making it look a lot better with some of the things that I bought in the awesome store. And so,
But yeah, I'm excited to play more of it. It's a fun game.
yeah, it's a good time. Good time. I enjoy it. Playing too much, honestly. Haven't played Warzone in a long time.
I almost tried to get a group together yesterday. So we played Satisfactory I played it for the first time yesterday, but I did almost get a group for Warzone together instead.
Yeah.
I was like, what do I want to play today? And I was like, I better, soften Jack's dick about me playing Satisfactory a little bit. So I better get that done.
It's been real hard.
Yeah. He's been real horny for
Been
it.
blue balling him for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's super stoked because you and I have played a lot of games for a while, and this is the first one where you'd have heard of it, but more or less it's the first one that he brought to us, and we're like, oh yeah, let's play that.
Yeah.
So he's super stoked on it.
This is the first online game we've played with him too.
Yes, yeah, that's
So.
true. That is true. But yeah, good game, good time, good beer.
Well, do you want to give this beer a rating? All things being considered. Or mention anything that you didn't get to. Actually, I'll mention one thing.
Yeah.
This beer, as many malt forward beers do, reminds me of a marshmallow.
I was gonna say, actually, I want to mention something. This beer sucks. Actually,
Just makes me think of a marshmallow.
not a marshmallow.
Like a campfire marshmallow. Old caramelized sugar. It's soft.
Characteristic wise, yes. Flavor wise, no.
Sure.
I'm on board with that. So it'd be a good. Is a good campfire beer. I think so.
I don't.
What is this?
I don't love
1%.
I don't love beers around the campfire.
5.2. Super hard disagree with you.
Whiskey is just far superior.
Porque no los dos.
No, I'm just saying, like, when you're talking about, like, good drink by the campfire, it's whiskey.
I start with both and end on beer. That's typically what I do.
I usually start with beer because usually when you, like, start the campfire.
You'd already started your night with beer, so.
Well, I'm saying, like, when you start the campfire, like, getting dinner going, get some hot dogs.
Yeah.
Then, like, beer is good with hot dogs.
Totally.
When you're, like, chilling by the campfire, no plan after dinner, then it's like, I've moved to whiskey.
Did we have whiskey when we went camping?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, we had the Rittenhouse. That's where Jack fell in love with it.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember that. I forgot all about that. Just gotta go camping again. Oh, darn it.
I mean, we're coming up on the season. March is ideal for me.
Down for that?
I like cold air camping.
Yeah. Oh, my God. You wake up and it's freezing. You just pop a hoodie on, start the fire and coffee. Fuck yeah. That's
I
my favorite.
hate waking up and it's like 80 degrees.
You're like ripping your clothes off. Yeah.
You're like, no campfire, time to go to the lake.
Yeah. I don't like that either. Not a fan. So, yeah, soon.
Are you gonna rate this beer or not?
A.
Great. Not even it's our pints rating scale. I'm not gonna rate this beer. I don't give a fuck.
Fair enough. It's fat tire, bitch.
Well, if you made it this far, let us know what you think about the new podcast format. It'll continue evolving, all that stuff. If you like the video, drop it a like. If you want to hear more about our thoughts about beer, subscribe and pay special attention to our pint series, which is weekly, going to continue being weekly. It's only 5 to 7 minutes long. Going to a local brewery, giving thoughts on a beer that you can get yourself from that brewery. Other than that, we'll see you on the next episode, whenever that is.
See you then.